Hey, so I'm a 90s kid. Anyone else out here 90s kids? Awesome, make some noise, parents of 90s kids. So, this whole idea of gentle parenting is tearing me up, you guys. I am unwell about this, okay? All these people out here 50 plus questioning us, wondering why are we raising this generation of entitled gangbangers? And I'm like, yeah, because y'all expect us to rub some essential oils on their head instead of beating their ass and yelling at them until they cried like we got. You know, my dad yelled at me daily from the kitchen table until I was weeping because I couldn't do math. These kids are just soft, you know. When I was in kindergarten, I stole a book from the book fair and the original source of retail therapy and got my ass paddled by the principal with a wooden paddle. I was 5. Now, if we can't get our raggedy ass kids to school on time, we go to jail, like actual jail. Kids, like, they feel entitled, right, to this whole dissertation if they're going to get any kind of consequence now. Because that's what gentle parenting does. It explains the why. And I'm like, why was not a word in my childhood vocabulary? Like, I had friends that could not breathe too hard around the daddies because that sounded like back talk, and they would just have to pray they was not about to catch the buckle end of that belt, you know? My best friend's here tonight. Her mom's Mexican. So by age 8, we've been cussed out in 2 languages, you know? So now we're supposed to teach our kids to use their words and talk things out. Meanwhile, in the 90s, like, I don't know about y'all, but we handled that shit on the playground like adults, you know? Like, Kristen says something crazy. She says something sideways to me in the hallway, and I'm like, I'm gonna link up arms with my friends and like, Red Rover, bitch. And I'm just gonna start clotheslining children, you know? And meanwhile, our, you know, lesbian gym teachers just smoking Pall Malls on the edge of the building, letting us sort that shit out, you know? Video games, those are a huge deal now. We didn't have anything beyond, you know, regular Mario and Duck Hunt when I was a kid. But we have a 14-year-old and he's super into video games, right? So recently he gets like real pissed about a video game. And he starts kind of charging at the TV, you know. And he stops himself right before anything crazy happens. But we live in a small house. And so all of us just like slow motion watch this TV start going like this $1,000 TV until it falls backwards, hits the wall, breaks. But me as the gentle parent, I'm supposed to get on his level and be like, how does that make you feel? And I'm like, I did not tell my parents when I felt thirsty. Like, my friends and I would bike 15 miles away from home, just praying that somebody's mama would want us off their yard so badly they'd throw us one of those like little hugs juices, you know, those little, because nothing quenches your thirst quite like an entire barrel full of sugar and food dye, you know? If you have littles, let me tell you this. Did you know you're not allowed to do timeouts anymore? We got to do time ins because timeouts are too exclusive, too isolating. So let me tell you what a time in is, okay? We're supposed to get our badass little kids and give them one-on-one time so that we can help them explore the emotion that made them act out. And I'm like, one-on-one, what the hell? Like, my parents didn't know where I was the better part of the 90s. I mean, I would have been on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries before anyone even noticed. Because parents in the 90s, very unconcerned about us getting kidnapped, you know? Any current or former sports parents in here? Make some noise, yep. When my brother and I played ball, we got $1 each at a game. We could have been playing 8 games back to back, $1. And that bought us about a boiled hot dog and a handful of either Warheads or tongue splashers. Remember that gum that like changed your whole mouth? Because we were eating healthy. Now we're out here spending $11,000 to make like gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan, organic treats for our kids' entire team so that they can get in exchange a participation trophy that they did not earn, right? And I'm thinking when I play ball, I got my own ass off the bus, hustled home, got myself in full uniform with enough time to put a plate of poverty nachos into the microwave, and I'd hustle back to the ballpark, and my daddy would be there inevitably, just like fists in the fence, like I'm getting ready to go up to bat, and he's in the backstop like, choke up, bitch, you suck. And ladies and gentlemen, that was motivational encouragement because we got bullied by adults in the 90s, right? And I tell as gentle parents to not let screens babysit, and y'all, I'm fully going to push back on that because I know for sure that I learned about the dangers of an overnight caffeine pill addiction by a 12-hour binge of Saved by the Bell and Jesse Spano. I mean, 3 Lethal Weapons, I'd seen them all with my dad by age 8. Today's kids, zero patience, no patience at all. They get cell phones when they're 9, so they're used to instant gratification. Like, we had to use an eraser to like rewind our New Kids on the Block cassettes so that we could nail the choreo we wrote ourselves so that we could have a breakthrough as a fly girl and in living color, right? Or from the melodious sounds of dial-up internet. So we could get on real quick and type age, sex, location to some random 30-year-old man who probably lived in his mom's basement. Because again, parents were very, very unconcerned about kidnapping. But now as a gentle parent, I'm supposed to use my calm, gentle parenting voice. Like, oh, Colin, I'm sure it's so hard having only 4G internet and 2 bars of service. Kids just are not afraid of their parents anymore. This is what I think the problem is. They are not afraid of their parents anymore, right? My dad put the fear of the Lord in us with a Marlboro hanging out of his mouth, full on windows up in the car. If we dared to touch that little light at the top, you know, that little light at the top of the car, because he had us fully believe, we were convinced that we'd go careening off the edge of a mountain, be ejected from the vehicle, all while he'd have to go to prison because we turned the light on in the car. There's just no fear anymore. So maybe gentle parenting is just for gentle kids, you know? Like, some of us are raising miniature gangsters, so we have to square up, you know? Like, I was raised on Tupac and Biggie, so just go ahead, do it. Like, I will take out my jewelry, like, I'm ready. And honestly, here's what I blame it on. I blame it on these women on Instagram, right? They're out here posting like, I'm so excited. It's just the joy of my life to be the mama to my 2 kids, Wingspan and Banjo. We're just out here getting ready to pick fruit from our organic garden and twirl in our lavender fields. Fuck that, Susan. I'm out here at the parent pickup line looking for another mom wearing no bra and definitely looking like she has blacked out at a field party or 2 in her lifetime, all right? And I will raise my iced coffee to her in solidarity, knowing that we both yell at our kids and say crazy shit like, go ahead, test me. I will rip your arms off and beat you with them, you know? And speaking of shit they don't do anymore, was anybody a fat kid in school? Like, raise your hand, make some noise if I'm the only one. Cool, that's cute. So I'm gonna tell you, I actually was a fat kid, and here's the crazy part. I did not know I was fat until I was in 6th grade, and here's the story, okay? They said to you, my name's Bryn, that's spelled B-R-Y-N-N. Crazy name to have in the 80s and 90s because nobody really had that name, and people would often read it really fast and be like, Brian, and I'd show up like, not a boy. But in 6th grade, they had these things called the Presidential Fitness Test. Y'all remember these? Nightmare, right? And they would take you in the gym, and y'all had that lesbian gym teacher, right? The same one that was smoking Pall Malls beside the building, you know, while we sorted shit out with Red Rover. So she'd take us out to the gym. She'd line us up, boys line, girls line, right? Brian should have been in the boys line, but here I am in the girls line. And this is not a like private, quiet doctor's office weigh-in. This is like a announce it across the room, very embarrassing and very public weigh-in. And so they would be like, Alexis, 50 pounds, Beth, 60 pounds, Brent, Brian, 120 pounds. Holy shit, coach, you gotta come see this kid, you know? And the social studies / gym teachers, and they'd all come running, right? But I was unaware. I had no idea because there was a new kid in class, and I went to school with 80 people, so I was locked in, tractor beam. His name was Evan Green. And I'm thinking, it's the day before Valentine's Day, so I have 24 hours to get him to fall in love with me. And y'all, this is the kind of kid that was like smoking Black and Milds behind the tree I used to hide behind when I didn't want to run a mile. Love at first sight, right? So I get to homeroom, I'm like planning my outfit, like Guess jeans, maroon, thrift store, silk shirt, Kmart, Husky section, there were signs. And I get hit right in the neck with one of those perfectly folded football notes. Did you guys make those? Yeah. And I open it and it says the words you want to read when you are a fat kid who doesn't know it. Will you be my girlfriend? Check yes or no. And I'm like, I played it cool. Check yes. Sailed it back to him like the football player I was apparently born to be. And I go home and I scrape together my change and I go to the store and I buy him this foil covered big giant Hershey Kiss, right? And I get to school early and I put it in the top of his locker for him to find, because I want him to see this like foil clad version of my love for him, right? And he's at his locker with his friends, I'm at my locker with my friends, and they're looking down, and I open my locker, and y'all, white box, red bow. I'm like, oh shit, this is about to be my first piece of heart-shaped jewelry from my future husband. I open it, everybody's looking at me, and I pull out a white packet with red letters that says Slim Fast. Y'all, true story. It's, forget Evan Green, he probably has a very gentle cellmate somewhere, you know. But all of a sudden the guidance counselor comes running down. She's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Do you want to come talk about your feelings? Do you want me to take him to the office, you know, to get him to the principal's office? And I was like, bitch, I got this. Fucking slammed his ass right up against the locker, and I was like, listen, Evan Green. And guess who got the open spot on the JV boys football team? Brian did.